Welcome to Rose Colombo's Issues of the Day.
There's a statement made by H.L. Mencken. He said, one can never underestimate the intelligence of the American public. If you can buy into Clinton, if you actually think that 89% of us buy what his rap, I mean, you got to be crazy. Obviously, that is not the case. We know that that is not the case. I mean, I've gone out and I've polled people, and you know, it's like 70–80% are against him. But yet you see on the manufactured polls, the Council on Foreign Relations polls, and I don't know whether they're taken in you know, the men's room of some strange place over on West Hollywood, or they're taken in a NOW meeting of the National Organization of Women. But this is, these polls are cooked, they're smoked.
Well, before he was elected to president, to the office of the president, he made a comment and said that he would not increase taxes for the middle-class American people. But after he was elected, he said he would have to increase their taxes.
And the first thing, you know, the American people gets it like this, right?
But the media keeps reporting that everything is fine
it's
and dandy.
It's a managed media. ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, all controlled by members of the Council on Foreign Relations. The CNN, Jane Fonda's network. She said, if you knew what communism was, you'd be down on your knees and pray for it. Well, the only people that are down on their knees are the you know, White House interns.
The people that are down on their knees are these poor people who have no power to do anything about what's happening. They're the ones who are going to be down on their knees.
We have the power to change it around. I take an incident here. We're going to Costco. The Communist Overseas Shipping Company. This is part of the People Liberation's Army. They brought in containers linked to the arms. Linked to the arms that are going in for street revolutionaries in this country.
Okay,
we're talking about 2,000 AK-47s going for a black-white racial confrontation situation, which is supposed to occur somewhere down the line.
Well, which really is frightening. Also in the media, you keep hearing about we've got to get different ethnicities out of this country because they're invading this country, they're destroying it. I do not believe that it's the little people that are destroying this country. I think we need to take a look at the people at the top.
Well, they're talking about population control. They're talking about reducing the population of the planet by 1,250 million. Right. 1,250 million by the end of the century, by the millennium, by the millennium 2000.
That really is
And how are you going to do that? By creating a white-black racial confrontation situation, by getting the blacks into prison where they can be used for slave labor, for the privatization of the prisons program. They are then allowed to be employed, just like they are in communist China. 7,668 death camps, 23 million incarcerated, attrition rate of 25%, 5,750,000 people die annually. And the President of the United States is whining and dining with them. He's whining and dining with the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world, where they use unborn fetuses, babies, for food, for health food. They are cannibals.
Well, in China,
and the President is dealing with cannibals.
In China, they deemed it a delicacy, to eat a fetus of a baby.
Right. I mean, I take a look at here.
Which which is just so unbelievable.
And here's a story.
To anybody that has any morality at all.
It's not just unbelievable. Here it is, a grim organ harvest. China has been executing prisoners to use their organs. They say, well, we need, you know, an organ for a 6-year-old child. Let's see. Well, let's execute one. They blow him his brains out. They take the child down. They blow out the child's brains. Then they harvest the parts to bring over here to sell. And Americans are going to stores and buying things made in communist China. No wonder, you know, we are being, you know, shafted. It's trade or treason. I mean, to go to...
Aren't you the one who was at the Long Beach port when they were going to sell our Long Beach port to the communists?
Well, yes. And here, the Chinese Navy was welcomed into San Diego. The USS John Paul Jones was flying the communist flag, the flag of the Butchers of Beijing. That's insane. I protested that because the Chinese have actually threatened to blow Los Angeles off the face of the earth. Why would they do that? Why would these guys down there welcome them with the communists and China and American flags? Because they're thinking of bringing about a new world order. They're thinking about putting forth a second Pearl Harbor.
Well, according to the Chinese, they administrators, they believe that America and China need to be, communist China need to be married.
Well, yes, I mean, they're one world order. Trade or treason. I was down here. We were out there protesting against the Port Commission's giving, and that's what it was, giving the communist port, I mean the American port to the communist Chinese to set up a long beachhead on American soil, to set up a second Pearl Harbor. We had 800 people. We protested. I went back before the Port Commission and protested, and before the city council and protested, before the administrator from San Diego and protested. Each time we did that. We then had 8 bills introduced to the Congress of the United States, 8, all of which were passed by an 85 to 90% plurality, meaning that we can beat them if we collectively get together and defy this treason.
Speaking of collectivism, I'd like to touch on that too when we come back, but I want to break for a second.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to